How you doing? I remember an adage that Tony Petrina used to say, Chairman, CEO of Placidome many years ago, if you can't catch it or you can't grow it, it comes out of a hole in the ground. And that very much, to me, typifies the fabric of what mining is to society in the future. Right, welcome to Mag Silver. I'm glad you could come along today. The room evacuated, so lots of people are missing out on a good story. We only have 10 minutes, so I'll have to rush through this. Forward-looking statements. We show this. There's a slide coming up here soon. You're actually going to see MAG's history since 2003 of actually turning these forward-looking statements into facts. Here's the decline into our deposit in Mexico, the Juanicipio project. We like to show this as a measure of the ability of our partner, the operator, Fresnillo PLC, to do an incredible job at probably half the industry average cost to put in a 5x5 ramp. And I don't know many other people who have cement floors and a ramp that looks like this. And three takeaways from today. There's only 10 minutes, but what you need to remember is we have a new resource, new PEA, Juanicipio, the highest grade undeveloped silver property in the world, has got bigger and better through exploration success. We're fully funded for our share of bigger and better now, and nothing's changed on the exploration upside. Despite what we've found, we still have substantial exploration upside on the property. We've been around since 2003, focused on the discovery of high-grade silver in Mexico. Juanicipio, it's a 44% MAG, 56% Fresnillo, who are the operator, joint venture. We have the Bonanza Zone, which was the previous technical report on file since 2012, and then successful drilling over the last 2.5 years. We now have a deep zone containing up to almost 2 billion ounces of base metals. Outstanding financial metrics, all in sustaining cash costs of $5 an ounce, after-tax IRR of 44%. 19-year mine life, so lots of times to ride some good cycles. We're in a strong financial position, $122 million of cash on the balance sheet. We've just announced, and we're closing today, I think, a $48 million US non-brokered private placement into MAG, which will take us to be fully funded for our share going forward. So a great result for MAG in quite restrictive capital markets, to have a number of our existing shareholders participate and help us get to the fully funded position, and no debt on the balance sheet. Very tightly held. I think there's about 4.5 million shares going out, but after that, or before that, we're about 81 million shares outstanding. Very disciplined how we've issued equity in the past. So this is a snapshot of the silver industry, and head grade, silver grade on the left, pure silver, and equivalent grade on the right. When you add in, typically on these assets, add in the lead, the zinc, in our case the gold. And you can see here how the Juanicipio project is a standout asset. The silver grade's almost above the rest of the industry's equivalent grade. And I'll just draw your attention to the average grade down here, the industry average grade of 175 grams per tonne, because I'm going to talk about our lower grade silver deep zone. Just remember that number. So this is what we've achieved on the exploration side since 2003. 8 significant discoveries, all high grade. The dot up the top in Chihuahua, Cinco de Mayo, is a 100% owned asset. We've had 3 discoveries on that property. We currently are negotiating to get back on the ground with the local landowners there. It's a slow process. We're trying to advance it, but really our focus is down here in Zacatecas at the yellow dot, where we've had significant upgrading of a tier 1 asset, and an asset that's now moving into development and cash flow. This shows the Fresnillo Silver District, no doubt the preeminent silver district in the world now, with just over 6 billion ounces of silver. 1 of every 10 ounces of silver on the planet comes from the Fresnillo Trend area. And here you see the Fresnillo tenements in the salmon colour, with the joint venture ground in blue nestled in next to it. We'll zoom in on the blue. And top right-hand corner there, the green bit of the blue is where we've purchased surface access rights, which is what we're trying to do at our Cinco de Mayo property. Here you see the red lines on this map represent epithermal veins. And this is what makes this area unique in the world. There's lots of high-grade epithermal vein systems in certain areas around the world. And they typically run 100, 200 or 300 metres long. In some cases, these veins run up to 10 kilometres long. And that's what gives it the endowment that it has. Silver's been mined in this area for 500 years. Fresnillo themselves have been here for about 130 years. And here you see at the top right-hand corner the Valdecañas vein. That represents about 95% of the metal in the Juana Scipio joint venture. And that's where the Bonanza zone is, and that's where the deep zone is now. You see how it continues across the line, across the property boundary, becomes Herias, and you can see the Sacito operations on there. So that graph of the grade shows you the potential for this project. The financial model that spits out $5 all-in sustaining cash costs, 44% after tax, IRR, etc. It's an outstanding project on a spreadsheet. But what makes this extra special is the fact it's being built by Fresnillo. It's going to be the third process facility that they're putting in here on the same vein. We're using all of the Fresnillo infrastructure to access and get the mine up and running. So there's no people on the planet better to be building this asset than Fresnillo. So we're very fortunate to have them as partners. This shows a long section of the Valdecañas, Bonanza zone at the top and the dilatant zone at the bottom, or the deep zone at the bottom. Typically about 6 metres wide in the Bonanza zone. As you get deeper, it starts to blow out to 30 metres. We actually found the deep zone with those 4 stars. They were holes drilled sterilisation, because based on everything we'd seen above in the Bonanza zone, it was behaving like all those other red lines in that Fresnillo area where the mineralisation peters out. In this case, it didn't. What's more important than the fact that the mineralisation didn't peter out is it's very evident now that that deep zone represents the top of a major fluid input point. This is the second one known in this Fresnillo area now. And so the opportunities here for further discoveries, I'm not a geologist, but I'm going to tell you they're pretty immense. Here's the resources. You can see at the bottom here we've got 12.8 million tonnes of indicated, 12 million tonnes. How long does that give me now? 1 minute to go. You know what I want to show you is we're getting down there. I really want to run this out. You can see this later on. Let's run the video. I think a picture paints 1,000 words, a movie probably paints 5,000 words. Here you see the west echelon vein and the east echelon vein of the Bonanza zone. Well, there you see the west. I don't know where the east is. There's the east. An outstanding asset in its own right. Then the deeper drilling started in 2014, and you're going to see programs that happened in 2015 and 16 where that deep zone is growing out. Is it growing out? They're those first 4 discovery holes that went into it. And then as we continue to drill, we're starting to see this mineralisation at depth becoming continuous. You see the red ramp at the top. We're accessing down to the top of the ore body now. We've now found a new vein, the Anticipata vein, the dilatant zone, as I said, running 30 metres thick. And now we have a new resource coming on this, which is almost doubled. So a fantastic ore body, open in all directions, a lot of potential to grow. And I'm under a lot of pressure to stop. Yep. Probably they've mined that down to 1.2, 1.4 kilometres on that other root system in the area, so there's a lot of depth there. It's also going out laterally in all directions, so it's the tip of the iceberg, Rob.
Okay.
Right, well, thank you very much.
Let's have a round of applause for George.
Thank you.